I just wanted to kind of weigh in on this whole Ken Tamplin thing. Obviously, he's come under fire. So, I personally like to record my own vocals. I've been doing it for a while. I do my own like production and stuff like that. So, as far as mixing goes, I've tried just about everything when it comes to vocals. I've used pitch correction, I've not used pitch correction, I've used, just about any of, of the typical effects you can think of, compression, EQ, all that stuff. And so yeah, I basically just know what works and what doesn't work and what sounds disingenuous and what sounds pretty genuine. Basically, the truth usually lies somewhere in the middle. Some people do have some good points and some accurate points, but I've noticed there's a lot of people who are also getting kind of carried away with it and just trying to all around discredit him fully. Like, this guy just absolutely has no idea what he's talking about, and he'll destroy your voice or end your career and stuff like that. I think that's kind of getting carried away. So basically, does he use backing tracks? Yeah, it does appear that way. I've noticed that for a while, and I just kind of figured, he doesn't want any pitchiness in the tracks. He wants it to be it's just easier for him to do things that way. Now, does that mean he can't do it live? No, it doesn't mean that. Just to be able to have the tracks to begin with in the first place means you have to be able to perform it. And if it's heavily edited, you can tell, okay? Now, Ken's vocals aren't heavily edited. I know what heavily edited vocals sound like, and his performances aren't super edited. Now, there's really only so many things you can do as far as studio trickery is concerned. You have pitch correction, you have auto-tune, and you have the ability to be able to speed certain words up. So if you hit a note and it's a little flat at first, and then you find the pitch, you might speed that word up to make the flat part not as noticeable, or things like that. But these things are usually audible. If it's heavily edited, you can usually tell. And when it comes to him hitting these really high notes and things like that in his performances, you can't really fake that in the studio. Say you were to try and use auto-tune or pitch correction to take a note and make it way higher. That will be super fucking noticeable. Without a doubt, it will be comical. You'd totally be able to hear that, And so he's not doing that, He's actually hitting the notes. Why is he using the track? Why is he pre-recording it? Probably because of his pitch. He might not have the best pitch a lot of the time, and that's why singers do multiple takes to begin with. It's because it's hard to be 100% on pitch the whole way through, but when it comes to a recording, you have to make sure that it is 100% on pitch because it stands out more on recordings as opposed to in a live performance when you're singing through a mic and a PA system and things like that. It's being processed in real time, and certain little mistakes are forgivable, basically, and it's not so much the case when it comes to studio recordings. And then everything else literally is just about mixing tools and making it fit in a mix. So it's not really, when it comes to compression, EQ, things like that, those are just tools to make it fit in a mix better. So it's not really, doing your voice in particular any real favors as far as how good you sound, Now, when it comes to him using old tracks to perform his own old material from, his band Shout or whatever, he's probably using that same track that he recorded 30 years ago or whatever it was. But when it comes to his recent covers, these are recent recordings. I can just tell that he recorded these recently. They're up to date. So they are basically an accurate representation of what his voice sounds like now. So basically the moral of the story here is, he's using tracks and stuff, but that doesn't mean he has no idea what he's talking about, or that he doesn't sound at all like that in real life, or, I think, the idea that he's teaching people techniques that are going to destroy their voice or end their career, I think that's a bit of a stretch. I definitely think there's some piling on going on here. certain people just decided they really want Ken gone for whatever reason. But yeah, like I said, the truth is usually somewhere in the middle.